to the Policy Times. This is Samita, and I will explain. Today, I will explain why boycotting China won't work for India's advantage. There's been a lot of uproar about Chinese product recently. As you can see, that banning Chinese product in India got a louder than the Indian Railway has now scrapped a contract with a Chinese engineering company to install system again, signal system. So the traders body has also asked Bollywood stars and sports stars not to endorse Chinese products. This is not the first time this is happening, and today we will take a look at why we just can't break off relationship with China without hurting our own industry. So China over the last 30 years has built up manufacturing units mostly worldwide, which India hasn't. So after the 90s, India has become one of the largest market for computers, telephones, bulk trucks, organic chemicals, solar energy and electric vehicles. But it had no core manufacturing unit and has been a peripheral assembler where over 50% of the critical components have to be imported in the countries for production. Now I will show you a data of India and China export and import. So, total export and import data bank India and China according to 2018 and 19, total export to China was 1.7 lakh crore. India total export to China was 1.7 lakh crore, that is 5.08% share in India's total. China earns from India's total 4.92 lakh crore, and total China's import share was 13.69%. As we can see, the total overall trade balance with China, which was minus 3.74 lakh crore, which is negative, and it means that China's import was higher than India's export. So as we can see the number of negative export in India. So let's know why made in China in India so popular. So how China's business in India. Number one, in the 4 months of this financial year, India imported approximately $23 billion worth goods from China. Number two, mobile phones, parts and other electric items accounted for the highest share at $4.4 billion. Number three, computer hardware was next at $1.3 billion, followed by the industry machinery at $1.16 billion. Number four, if one were to consider China's share total crude oil and gold imports, China's goods made up nearly 19% of all imports. In other words, nearly a quarter of India's imports came from mainland China or Hong Kong. No wonder that the popular impression at home is that anything imported is by default from China. So let's know China in our homes. Amongst all the little brands, one name managed to stand apart in a different league, Lenovo. Lenovo in many ways was a pseudo-Chinese brand. Having acquired IBM's PC business in 2005, the gradual transition from IBM to Lenovo made the latter a popular brand in India. At least the segments that owned or used in a PC. In January 2006, Lenovo had a 7.3% market share in India. Lenovo in many ways is the flag bearer of all the Chinese brands that were to follow. Now in 2015, Xiaomi was launched in India. Xiaomi used a combination of great product, clever distribution and marketing and almost perfect piercing break to Indian market. With a 28% smartphone share, it is perhaps the most well-known Chinese brand in India. Today, Chinese mobile phone manufacturers including Xiaomi, Oppo, Vivo and Honor make up for about 53% of the smartphone market in India. Now, amongst all the leading apps being used in the country like TikTok, Bigo, UC News, NewsDoc, Club Factory, UC Browser and Shein, are leading in their individual categories. Even Bollywood better watch this collective bet. Long before mobile PC or app companies entered the country, the most recognizable Chinese name was Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan is admittedly from Hong Kong, but that is a part of China now. So Jackie Chan caught the popular imagination with his movies from 1980s, and he is still popular this day. In fact, he is more popular than many politicians in this country. On Google search, for example, as many people in India search for Jackie Chan as they do for firebrand CM Yogi Adityanath. So the question is, how did the Chinese manage to be successful in India? So going back to Lenovo example again, Lenovo's success in India was built around 3 or 4 elements. And in many ways, the way successful Western companies are operated in India, intense media presence, even more intense distribution focus, and a pricing proposition that was not too cheap or too expensive, which for that matter are the basics of any strategy. So, but it did something that other Asian companies did not do. It let Indians run their business fairly and independently. Chinese companies are quite different from their other Asian rivals in this unique way. Now, I've seen the amount of success Chinese business in India. Why boycott Chinese products movement is difficult for India? Number one, complicated trade deficit. Amid India's limited production capabilities, China has emerged as the biggest exporter of consumer products. The trade deficit between two countries is considered to be the largest among global trading partners, with India importing 7 times more than export to China. In 2018 and 19, India's export to China were mere $16.7 billion, while imports were $70.3 billion, leaving the trade deficit of $53.6 billion. As per the data quantified in the Indian government Ministry of Commerce and Trade website, China had a 5.08% share in Indian export for the year 2018 and 19, and a 13.8% share in India's import for the year 2019 as well. Data suggests that China's export to India account for nearly 2 to 4% of its total export, which it can afford to export other countries, substituting India, and that would potentially not to China's economy. On the other hand, since India imports from China in large quantities, it will not be easy for India to find a replacement for Chinese goods at a comparatively low cost. The task of mass boycotting of Chinese products is feasible only when India has a substitute source which can match the cost and bulk availability of Chinese products. So China is now India's number one trading partner. So let us know that how Chinese products continuing business in India. So the smartphone business, the smartphone market size in India, 2 lakh crore. The share of total Chinese product was 72%, and the possibility of substitution, if you say the possibility of substitution, is very difficult. Chinese brand dominate every price segment, and we are way ahead in R&D. Now, telecom equipment. Total market size of telecom equipment from China and India is 12,000 crore rupees. Total share of Chinese products is 25%. Possibility of substitution, if you say, is doable but costly. Telecom could see a 10 to 15% rise in gear procurement cost and lose attractive vendor financing options if they opt for US and European suppliers. Television market. Total television market size in India, 25,000 crore. Share of Chinese products on the smart TVs is 40 to 45%, and for non-smart TVs is 7 to 9%. The possibility of substitution is doable but expensive. Alternative to Chinese smart TVs are 20 to 45% costlier. Now we can see the home appliance. The home appliance in India's total market size is 50,000 crore from China. Share of Chinese product is 10 to 12%. Possibility of substitution is easy now. So, but if large Chinese brands enter with much Chinese product, cheaper products, this may change. Now coming to internet apps. In India, total market size, China's market size is internet apps is 45 crore smartphone users. Share of Chinese products in India is 66% of people use at least one Chinese app on their smartphones, and possibility of substitution is easy. But only if Indian users can give up addiction to like TikTok. Domestic alternatives have also have been failures so far. Now, pharma and API. The total market size of pharma in India is 1.5 lakh crore. Share of Chinese products is 60%. Possibility of substitution is very tough. Other sources are pricer, and many encounter regulatory hurdles for large domestic chemical. Now we can see that how Indian startups and private Indian companies with Chinese investment. As per the Gateway House report, 2020 Chinese tech investors have put an estimated $4 billion into Indian startups. Over a period of 5 years ending March 2020, 18 of India's 30 unicorns are now Chinese funded. Indian companies like Big Basket, Byju's, Flipkart, Hike, which is a messaging platform, Ola, Oyo, Paytm, Policybazaar, Snapdeal, Swiggy, Zomato, Uran, etc., and are vested with Chinese interest in varying degrees. So, according to the report, Indian venture capitalists (VC) or financiers, although wealthy individual families, are not in position to make $100 million commitments needed to finance startups and through their early losses. For instance, Paytm incurred a loss of rupees 3,690 crore in FY19, while Flipkart lost 3,837 crore over the year, which leaves Western and Chinese investors as dominant players in the Indian startup space, said the report. So it's time to analyze the boycott of Chinese goods won't work for India, and it will go against our advantage. According to DNA India analysis, take a part of any product today, whether it is a car, phone, or any aircraft, and you will find hundreds of components from several different countries, including China. Labeling a product of clearly Chinese would therefore be almost impossible. What's more, that given that country's central role in global manufacturing, such leveling may render most critical products out of bounds for Indian consumers. Cheyenne, an aircraft industrial corp, for instance, is a key supplier of components to Boeing, whose 737 MAX and 747 aircraft are part of Indian Airlines fleets. Cheyenne is a Chinese company. So, will India boycott Boeing for its choice of sourcing? In 2014, economist Kilian Hillman published a study titled The Effectiveness of International Trade Boycotts. Based on an analysis of the boycott of Danish goods by Muslim countries after a rupture over comic depictions of 2005 and 6, and China's boycott Japanese goods in response to the Senkaku and Diaoyu Island conflict in 2012. So this study suggests that even though an individual firm of the boycotted country might be hit hard, the overall effect on the export sector is negligible, rendering the punishment effect as mostly ineffective. The timing of any such move by India is also questionable. China has been first of the mark then restarting in the industrial operation after its COVID-19 lockdown. It was the first to be hit by the outbreak and thus also the first to recover. It will be looking for raw materials to fuel its recovery, which give Indian suppliers a business opportunity. Now, the conclusion part, is there a chance for India to become the world's factory? China's deteriorated global position has come as a blessing to India as it now can attract more investment. The northern state of Uttar Pradesh, UP, which has a population similar to Brazil, is already forming an economic task force to attract firms named to ditch China. India is also making a land twice the size of Luxembourg ready to offer the companies that want to move out their manufacturing units out of China and reach 1,000 American multinational. As a report of Bloomberg said, the US China Business Council USIBC, a powerful unit that works to improve investment flows between India and US, said that India is significantly stepped up to its pitch. We are seeing India prioritizing efforts to attract supply and chains both at central and state government level. The president of USBC, Nisha Biswal, said, some companies have some manufacturing units in India. Earlier, they are probably reducing production in China units and scaling up production in India. Many of the companies are facing severe cash and capital constraints due to the pandemic and will therefore be very cautious while making any particular move or before taking any decision. According to Rahul Jacob, who is a long-time China watcher and former Financial Times bureau chief in Hong Kong, said the Indian government putting up land banks together is a step of right direction, but it won't attract multinational companies just because the availability of the land. Production lines and supply chains are far stickier than most people seem to understand, and it will be very difficult to pull them apart overnight. The strict deadlines that large multinational companies operate on an integrated infrastructure like large port and highways, the best quality labor and sophisticated logistics are offered by China. India does not have well integrated global supply chains for which multinational companies may face loss. According to Your Story Journal, India's relationship with China is a complex primarily due to China's complex relationship with Pakistan. India's defeat in the 1962 war and the occasional border flare-ups like the one in Doklam. Independent assessment have revealed that the 1962 war was much result than Nehru's forward policy and it was Chinese hegemony. That said, Indians could have probably forgotten the conflict of 1962, but if not, China's active prodding of Pakistan for the last 50 years, including support of their nuclear program. The Times of India even reported how China's support for Pakistan nuclear program was actively tracked by the CIA. China's active string of pearl strategy also makes India and Indians extremely uncomfortable about the Chinese thinking. It's a belief that amongst Chinese strategic thinkers that Pakistan must be used to keep India at bay and prevent it from emerging as a serious rival. In some ways, there seems to be a fundamental lack of understanding amongst the Chinese about how Indians think strategically and how the national values play out when it comes to doing things that are perhaps not acceptable to other countries. It is this lack of understanding that is also preventing China from becoming a much larger partner of India, and as it continues to face blocks in their economic strategy in India. The slowdown in the Chinese economy means that China will gradually have to increase its dependence on the only large economy. It is a report by Paris-based international grouping the world's leading economies, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD), that is likely to grow over the next 10 years. The Indian government should They're the part of the Indian government. The Indian government should constitute a strategic group that combines security expert, industry expert, researchers, and whole host of individuals to provide continuous intelligence of Chinese thinking and the best route for success for Indian companies in China. In the meanwhile, India needs to bolster its industrial and manufacturing base, get its population growth rate under control, and start innovating more to become competitive in China. That's all for today. Stay tuned for the next video. Keep watching the Policy Times.